For a number of years, I worked in a law firm, and I thought that that's a journey that I should be taking to become a lawyer. And one day, or one morning, after finishing up a case that I spent all night working on, I went to the train station, Penn Station, to take a train home, shower, to come back to work that day. And as I'm rushing to the train station, I rush in, and I was very tired. And I wanted to sit somewhere, but there was no place to sit. But then I noticed a seat in the far corner, and everybody's standing around, nobody's taking it. So I rushed over to the seat, and I sat down, thinking that I finally got this seat. And then I realized why no one was sitting there. There was a man sitting on the other chair that smelled like the worst smell I've ever smelled in my entire life. And we're sitting there with a cart, a grocery cart, clearly a homeless man. And as I sat there, the first thought that came to me was, I probably should get up. This smell is terrible. But I was so tired that I decided I'm just going to sit here. I took a book out of my bag to distract me, because I had a little wait for the train. And I pulled the book out and I started reading as a form of distraction. And the man that was sitting beside me said to me, "That's a very good book." And in my arrogance and ignorance and unkindness, the thought occurred to me, well, what does he know about this book? It was a book called The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. He's a black psychologist. It was not a very popular book. In fact, it's very difficult to find the book these days. And he said to me, "That's a really good book." And then he went on to start telling me about the book. And then I realized he did read this book. And not only was he telling me about the book, but he started telling me about other books that this author wrote. Not very many people would know this. And not only was he telling me about the other books that the author wrote, he told me specifically about the content of some of those books. And I was completely floored. I was humbled. My ego was completely destroyed in that moment. And I started having a conversation with this man. I missed 3 trains talking to him that day. But the greatest lesson that I learned was that after about an hour or so, I did not smell the smell that was there before. So I've often questioned myself, then where did this smell come from? Yes, he did not smell the best, but the depth of the smell came from my perception, what I thought of him, my idea of who he is, which was this derelict man who had no future, who shouldn't even be talking to me, and that day changed my life forever. As I said, I missed 3 trains talking to him. He told me some more about the books. He told me that, he was a professor at NYU and that his family had passed, his wife, children, and he just gave up on life. I left that day just humbled and, more importantly, extremely grateful, because what that allowed me to do was to be able to see who I am, to become self-actualized. This man who I thought was unworthy, was my greatest teacher that day. I've since then gone back to look for him the next day, the next day, the next day. Every single time I go into Penn Station, he was the first person that came into my mind. I look in the same spot, I look around, I've never seen him again. Was he an angel? Certainly for me he was, definitely for me he was, because he changed my life forever. The following week, I went home, I told my wife, I'm leaving the law firm. I had started doing some work with some young people in East Harlem at the time, and I decided to go full-time doing this work. And then here I am at Thomas S. Hope Foundation, really honoring this man by doing this work and understanding that we are each other's frame of reference. He certainly was mine that day. We are each other's keeper, and that for us to become truly self-actualized and have a full understanding of self, we have to be of service somehow. And may I suggest that you come join us at Thomas's Hope. This could be a very good place for you to begin that process, because here, support, service is the benchmark.